Before we get the show on the road, guys, we are nearly at 14,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already subscribed, then please do so, because the more subscribers that I get and the Salmon's Pizzeria channels get, then the more weight we have in conversations to make events like this as big as it possibly can be. Because this is a video specifically for charity and it's a cause that affects us all in the end, let's hit 100 likes. Here goes nothing. This is the first big tournament I've ever done, and thank you all for coming along. We've reached £3,000 in the donations page alone, and I estimate we'll be over £5,000 by the end of the day, which is absolutely... Thank you for your patience. Let's play some football. Around 90,000 Scots are living with dementia today, and sadly those numbers are rising. In 2023, over 6,400 people lost their lives to Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, which is a rise of 3% in just 1 year. Weeks on from this tournament, we are thrilled to support Dementia Scotland, who provide vital care, early diagnosis support and free helplines to individuals and families affected. To find out more and donate, just head to the Just Giving page at the top of the video description above the website link. Today's video comes with footage from Salmon's Pizzeria Charity Five-a-Side football tournament, which took place at World of Football Cheshire in Edinburgh last month. So behind me here is the legend of the first ever Salmon's Pizzeria Charity Five-a-Side tournament. I think this is the sort of thing that will end up being rolled up into like one of those Elder Scrolls type thing. We eventually had 40 teams lined up for this tournament, and we were originally looking for 16, then it went to 24, and Gully's TikTok went mini viral and I was inundated with requests, which was absolutely fantastic. We had a really fantastic day on the 14th of June. There were challenges that stepped up, like from the word go. I mean, the weather was really bad. We picked the worst Saturday of the year to do it, but thankfully all the games were indoors. We had 80 matches across the group stage and a further 30 in the knockouts, which you can see behind me. As part of the footage for today, I have not included any of the finals because that is getting uploaded separately onto the Salmon's Pizzeria YouTube channel, which I'll leave a link in the description for. My personal angle in the tournament, of course I was playing in it with the Scottish YouTube team. We played in Group C with Dogger Saints up with the Bonnets, two teams from the pizzeria sort of hemisphere, as well as two public teams, which were Cooper Cosmos, a team from Owen Town, and Baillieston Battalion. I think our group was actually the most competitive throughout the tournament. Funnily enough, the SYT finished top with 7 points. It was genuinely one of those groups where everyone took points off each other and it was really competitive. The first game we played, we didn't have much of the game filmed. We drew 2-2 with Dogger Saints. This game I didn't play in because it was the first game of the tournament and we were still running around trying to keep things going. So it wasn't a sacrifice, but I just decided I needed to help run the tournament, otherwise things were just going to go even further behind. But the game against Dogger Saints, we went 2-0 up and unfortunately conceded this goal to level the game to make it 2-2. There was a debatable third goal for the Dogger Saints. Their bench agreed with us. The player that scored the goal had crept into the box. I think we did get away with it, but the game finished a 2-2 draw and we shook hands at the end and we were very grown up about the game, and that's kind of how we ended up finishing top, because had Dogger Saints won that, I think we'd have been on 6 points. There are so many things I could have done differently that day, especially this scoop turn in the game against Up With The Bonnets.
It's got to be the shot.
Pure stupidity on my part.
Our Dundee supporting counterparts raced into a 2-0 lead with goals from Ryan Cruikshanks and the voice of DTV himself, Ethan Hampton. Jamie McKee got a goal back for the SYT, however it wasn't enough and we finished our second game with our first loss of the tournament.
At that point we were like, right, we have to win a game because we were on 1 point from 2 games and obviously it wasn't looking great. And then we went to play Baillieston Battalion and this was one of the games that had more footage from it. Thing is, we had people in the double figures of videographers that were going to turn up on the day, and then Things happen, people pull out, it's just a part of life. And we only had 3 or 4 people that could actually go around, take footage, and the footage we got was fantastic. We tried to make sure every team was included as much as we possibly could, but when there's 40 teams and 6 pitches being played on at once, unfortunately some games are just not going to get any screen time at all. And that's just a lesson we're going to have to take for the next event, because the ambition was, it was very ambitious, was to get every single game filmed and put onto the pizzeria channels, because that would have pushed more and more subscriptions for the YouTube channel. But in this game against Baileyson Battalion, we went 1-0 down due to a very unfortunate goal. Zach, who's a fantastic goalkeeper who stepped in on the day for the SYT, he made a lot of saves, and unfortunately he was a bit disorientated and was caught by the bounce of the ball.
Yeah, we won't talk about the fact that I lost my man for this goal.
We still pushed because I believed, like, if we had pressed them enough, that we would be able to get back into the game, and I managed to get an equaliser for us.
Are you based around here? It's full house here in the world of
Jamie got the second goal. And we were starting to cook with gas, we were starting to be a bit more confident. I mean, I completed my first pass of the tournament in game 3. I managed to get us a 3rd goal and my 2nd goal of the game.
Andy! That was a special goal. The passion.
I was hoping for a hat-trick, but I missed too many chances. And thankfully, although Baileyson got a goal back to make it 3-2, that it was too late at that point, and we managed to see out our first 3 points. And you know, on average 4 points does get you through in that sort of group phase to at least the plate, which is the secondary trophy, because we had a sort of Champions League and a Europa League type of thing going for the last 16s and all the way through to the final. We went behind against Cooper Cosmos, but thankfully we turned around and won 2-1. There isn't much footage of this game, but I did score my 3rd goal of the tournament, but we ended up going through top of the group, which was astounding considering our start.
Gordon, let's go.
We're ready off the pitch, but I think we're through to one of the trophies. 7 points now from our full 4 games. Happily take that.
What I must say about our group was I was really happy with how it panned out, because obviously in tournaments like this, like, it's hard to gauge the quality, but thankfully the draw set this group up to be really good, because I think had these games been played on another day, there'd be another team that would be top of our group, there'd be another team that are bottom of our group. I think there were so many fine margins, which was a good advert for our tournament had all of the games been filmed. But unfortunately, not everything goes to plan. Some of the content did take a back seat, because when you're so focused on getting the event right, because the event has to go right for everything else to fall into place, and although like we had a couple teams not turning up till like 12:30 or later, we had teams coming from all over. We had teams from Perth, there were people flying in from Portsmouth, driving down from Dingwall for the day. We had a team come up from Carlisle, who we eventually played in the round of 16. We went 1-0 down in the game, but we scored instantly to make it 1 each. And it was one of those really tight games, like nothing really separated us. I mean, they were a bit younger and probably a bit fitter as well, because they actually play in a 5s league, I believe. But we managed to force it to penalties, and unfortunately I missed our first penalty, and that sort of set the tone, and we lost 2-0 in MLS penalties. But to be fair, they were really good. Their goalkeeper was outstanding. Like, some of the saves I saw him make throughout the tournament when I was just walking past pitches. Like, they were a really good addition to the tournament. We can have the banter of, oh, the Scottish YouTube team got knocked out by an English team on penalties, but really the heart of the matter is that we all had a good day, and congratulations to the winners of the plate, which were Cooper Cosmos, and the winners of the El Dorado Trophy, which was our main sponsor, Airdrie Albion. Yeah, a Motherwell fan congratulating a team from Airdrie for winning a cup. Never going to happen again. Now, this part of the video, I just want to thank everyone. First and foremost, World of Football for having the event. They are my employer, and they also provided the pitches at a very, very good rate, so we can afford to put this event on. Next up in my thank yous go to El Dorado, who were absolutely brilliant with us from minute one. It was my mate Jake who reached out to them to see what they thought, because of course they are very good in the Scottish content space at the moment. I think the boys won't mind. They actually upped their contribution in the first meeting I had with them. I can't thank them enough. Then of course Pigs, the wine and tapas restaurant in Edinburgh, who also put in a really good contribution to the event. Also First Class Football Shirts, who had a pop-up shop on the day. They made quite a lot of sales. They made a lot more sales than they expected, I believe, and they were fantastic. They did so well in terms of sales, which I'm so pleased with. Also, we got a wee contribution from Prime, and also the Twitter account Fitma Tweets were there, taking some drawings of stuff that was happening on the day as well. Next up, I want to thank our videographers, Nathan, who is a good pal of mine, and Rab, who's been a part of the SYT for as long as I have. Also Jacob, who came down from Perth. Also Landing, who came up from London, I believe is where he's from. Also a massive thanks to Gully Singh, because without his post about the event back in May, we wouldn't have had such a big tournament, and we wouldn't have raised as much money as we did. Next up, I want to thank my mum and my grandparents for sitting by the raffle stall for the full duration of the day. Next up, I must thank Nicola and Jenna for helping the running of this event. I mean, neither of them were asked to help out originally, but I mean, Jenna was meant to be holding this and present on the day, but unfortunately that had to take a back seat, and Nicola really stepped into the role of sort of chief organiser for the day, because, well, whatever problems we had was solved eventually, and without them I have no idea where we would have been, honestly, so massive thanks to them. And also I want to thank the whole community of the Salmon's Pizzeria, the group chat, the committee members as well. Without them, the event wouldn't have even got off the ground. I mean, we all had different skills in which we sort of made the most of. It's honestly a fantastic group of people. I've got a list of the committee members in front of me just so I don't forget anyone, because everyone is equally as important as the next person. The founding fathers, Andy, who is fantastic with the graphics the whole lead up to the tournament. Also Alex, Lee, who is part of the draw video, which was a shit ton of fun, honestly. And of course Stu, who's now my favourite bald person. The likes of Callum, who was also in the draw video.
Number 3!
Right at the start of the whole run up to this event. Adam, we couldn't have done without. He was also a key part of helping the running of the tournament. He also gave me a lift home from a night out 2 nights ago. Cal, from the Dogger Saints team as well. Jake, who was also part of the Up With The Bonnets, and I gave him the charity trophy and he lost it. Sam and Ethan as well were fantastic. I mean, Ethan did score against the SYT, but I won't hold it against him. We finally found footage of his goal, and it's honestly what peak male performance looks like. And now I've also got to thank my teammates from the SYT and others who stepped in. Obviously we've got Adam, Andy, Blair McNally of course was in our team. Brandon is very reliable, one of the most reliable guys I've known throughout playing with the SYT. Jamie Welchie, and of course Zach, who filled in. Also, I must thank our referees, David, who's been a really good friend of mine for
a number of years now. I think I've been pals with him for about 10, 12 years. Also Fraser for coming along as well. They did it for the good of their own heart. I mean, June is a hectic time to get referees on the best of times because obviously it's the end of most football seasons. Getting more referees is something that we have to work on for next year because, of course, well, we only had two full referees and we had 6 pitches running at a time. If anyone is a referee or knows a referee, get them to get in touch with me because we are wanting to have another event next year and we don't want to have a similar situation to sort of well, the refereeing rota that I ended up having. I do believe that is everyone mentioned that I need to right now, but I'm sure I'm going to get slagged off in the chat for any other people I didn't mention. To have raised £7,601 for our first charity event, been a wonderful experience, and I thank everyone for their patience. Let's go again in 2026.